Welcome. In this video, we're going to talk about Ssangsu Geombup Kuban, Form 9, Part 3. Yeah. Yeah. So, as you saw, there is a cartwheel in this form. So obviously that's going to take some of our time just kind of talk about why it's in there, aside from maybe the more obvious reason of it's athletic and it do that well, right? But let's get up into that point first, right? So theoretically, right? So we're here, we struck out someone's knee, we cover, right? Because imagine if you were struck down, especially as I was going in, if I had a strike happening low, I might still try to have some sort of overhead strike, right? So we've knocked out their knee or their ankle, cover just in case, get my distance back as I use my knee as counterbalance, cut them down, and this could be curb stomp if you want to think of it that way, or it could be going over the body, or it could just be situating yourself back up into this cover. So this is where we're starting off, right? So the idea is someone is giving you a center cut, right? I've received that center cut. Now, the idea is I'm going to move my sword offline this way, again, hoping that the guard that has absorbed most of the blow. I'm going to move offline. Sword is allegedly going offline this way. I'm going to pivot on my front foot. As I turn, if I want to grapple, I could. Try aim for that cross. Same situation that we talked about before with that 360 clear. So once again, if he's now moved behind me, I'm going to turn behind me. Short stance cross cut, hitting person directly behind. And this is more likely going to be a second clear shot. Again, unlikely I'm actually striking that same person. This is probably just making sure I have my distance before I do the cartwheel. So let's go through that in a little bit more detail in the sense of like describing what's going on there, right? So we have our short stance, one hand cover. I like my offhand to be nice and low. You can actually reinforce it with your thigh if you need to. Otherwise, it's just kind of covering where your liver is here. So without necessarily thinking too much about the deflection in the normal form, we're going to drop as we turn. Short stance, still same direction. Again, same thing we talked about before. We're going to lead going backwards. Short stance, face behind me. Around the head, other hand comes underneath. Clear in a kimase. I'll do it facing this way in case it helps, right? So if we're here, tuck, cut, back, and you can kind of come upright because we're going to do our cartwheel. So in the event you don't want to do a cartwheel, valid, right? So I'm going to circumvent it for now, kind of give you an idea, and the hand motion's also going to help with a future explanation. So from here, all we're going to do is down, down, grab, and you're going to come to a knee as we finish with our center cut. Just like in Form 6, our finger's going to move over. I'm going to grab my scabbard, we're going to bring it to the side. And this is one of our first times we actually have a choice. So as the sword's going in, you can either come down into wherever the Korean name for seiza is, here, or as the blade's coming in, I stand up. Again, as it snaps together, we're here and back into our chunbi and our chariot position. I'm going to do that from another angle because that wasn't the best one to do it. But if we're here, again, lead hand, cover down, down, grab, kneel. I don't think I'm in frame, so I'm going to go back a little bit. From here, finger over to the side. Again, choose either seiza position or stand up and then going back into eventually into our chariot position. Before I show you the part of the form, you can probably tell some things are not like the others. You'll see very briefly why I'm wearing one of these guys as well as using something at least without a scabbard for now. This is mostly for my own protection, just because doing what I'm about to do on a hardwood floor isn't the most comfortable. But with that, let's take a look at this part of Form 9. So as you can see, we have a perceptive swordsman here who has not seen what we're going to do yet, so he's going to have a first real-time reaction of what the canonical use of the cartwheel is in the Gumdo form. We're going to have some fun. So the idea is, if you want to take a couple steps back so we make sure we're in frame, so notice that he has a very long spear, so it's not one of those short spears that you see like in Wushu, for example. It's a very short move. This is pretty long, right? So theoretically, I will need to really get my distance in, or he's going to spear me pretty easily. So keep in mind, I'm not making this up. The theory behind the cartwheel: he has a spear. He's allegedly going to try to spear me. Without using the sword as cover, he's going to slowly spear. I'm going to allegedly 1, 2, 3, 4. Allegedly, that is what the cartwheel is doing. So if theoretically I didn't get speared, which would not happen, I would be speared super easily, because spears are the best weapon. Let's be honest. But if he spears at me and I magically don't get stabbed as I defend, as I do my cartwheel, theoretically all my body weight is going to be on here. So he's more likely, I'm not going to do it because I don't want to actually snap. That will actually break. It would actually break. So theoretically, if I put all my weight on there, he might lose his weapon. If he's a seasoned fighter, he would probably have a knife on his person to stab me. But weapon afterwards. Yeah. Or from here, theoretically, I'll be so close, I'd be like, bonk.
No way I could survive.
Yeah. So that would be bad. So if anyone wants to volunteer to try this live, do so at your own caution. I don't trust myself even trying to, because how would you even?
That's so that is using your hand to deflect the spear is a thing.
Yeah, so allegedly using my hand to deflect the spear.
Oh, you can't hear me.
Yeah, you may not be able to. You might be loud enough. You might be able to. So theoretically,
you just swat rapiers away, but you can your palm and your forearm also, if you happen to get in the way.
Yeah. That's the thing, though, is, again, spears are super fast. Like, if you want to just stab off, yeah. So notice, I am super hoping for this to work, for him to be stabbing here, sort of, because I want to be able to deflect it and then go down and move all this way, in case, I don't know if it would help if you want to go over here and do the second angle. Because if he goes for my knee, maybe that's what nope, that knee is supporting my leg. So hopefully he's not aiming for my knee, because if I start doing my cartwheel, it stabs me in the leg.
Well, in Gima, I would want to go for your armpits or your throat, where you had an opening in your armor.
Yeah. So I guess the legs would also be a little bit harder to hit, but versus like.
Sort of shield combat, I also want to disguise it from low and shoot it high.
Yeah.
You can't see it.
So maybe this is not. I'm trying to give him benefit of the doubt. Because if he starts low and he starts to come up, maybe that's when I would be 1, 2, full pressure on, turn, bonk. But that is the official interpretation of why we have a cartwheel.
Looks cool too.
Not when I do it. Not when I do it. It's not cool at all. However, if you do want to learn how to actually do a cartwheel, I highly recommend you watch. There are like thousands of gymnasts on YouTube. Any of them can do it better than I can. Maybe Brad can, but we can. If you want to learn how to actually do it properly and beautifully, I would highly recommend taking a look at a different source for that. So that is the more accepted understanding of the cartwheel. So obviously, my personal opinion is that that is mostly there for acrobatics, athletics, and getting you used to being inverted in case you ever do start to go down in a takedown or anything like that, as opposed to do this in combat, because as you'll, there's going to be footage at the end of this video that if you want to see how fast we can make it work, you can guess how it's going to work out. But the other variant that I learned from my first instructor, Mr. Paul, is you have been disarmed. There is a weapon, doesn't have to be your weapon per se, but there is a sword on the ground, and there's one last person that I want to take out. So theoretically, you're going to use your cartwheel instead of this to be able to do our final strike. So let's give it a go. Yeah. But with that, that is the end of Ssangsu Geombup Kubans, the Form 9. So this is the very first form that we do officially as a first dan. There's a cartwheel, which we're trying to make the best of it that we can. But make sure whatever you do as you practice, again, do so safely, again, under the supervision of someone who knows better. Obviously, if you try any of that spear stuff or any of the grabbing the weapon off the ground with a cartwheel, again, do so safely and all that fun stuff. Both that, make sure you stay safe, stay humble, and keep training.
Can we try to do some kind of cartwheel move? We'll do full motion?
I don't trust myself with the cartwheel with that.
Really?
No.
No, don't just do a cartwheel to the side instead of doing it on top of it. Just swat it and do cartwheel?
We can try.
Ready?
Okay. Then bang. That was so slow. You would be able to just be like, yeah. So,
can you just do a full turn flip? I mean, like you just grab it and then flip in the air without touching the ground?
Oh, without like hands on the ground?
Yeah.
No, I can't do that. I mean, so the thing is, there's an alternative to it, which is actually just slightly better. So if you give me that stab, the idea is I'm up here.
Yeah, that works great.
And
that's
funk.
what I do with larger swords.
Yeah.
You beat the spear aside is how I always teach spear fighting. You never actually just try to work around the spear. You address the spear and then you close in. So that's actually beautiful. That's amazing. That's a great one.
So I mean, that's the one that they got rid of, but because so what it used to be is like if we can't do a cartwheel, it was cover and then hit.
It's a cool move.
But now they're like, if you can't do a cartwheel, just do this. That said, there is half swording in Form 13, which is supposed to be against the sword according to stuff. But theoretically, like if you were to come with a sword, I mean, you've seen this move before.
Yeah.
Whoop! Theoretically, and I can move in with like thrusts and stuff like that. So there are actual spear moves, and that is from like historical manuals, how to fight a spear. But they don't teach it against a spear, they teach it against a sword. So,
I mean, that's stuff I do when I fight spears.
Yeah.
Sword with a spear.
All the stuff we might add at the very end of the video that no one or few people are actually going to watch, but have fun with that.